But hi kids, how are we doing? Good evening. Good evening, good schmevening. I ordered food, which is chimkin, because as I started streaming, I went, oh shit, I haven't eaten since like the afternoon yesterday, and it is now 8 p.m. and I am hungry. So usually I'd make myself dinner, but I just can't today because I have to lock in. I have to lock in and I have to work. I've got a lot of editing to do. The good news is we're nearly halfway. See? See where that is? That's the end. So I'm nearly... Guys, an hour and 19 minutes, and it's probably going to be longer than that too. Because I still have to do the... Wait, what gap did I give this? That's not... Just over a minute. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably going to be around there. Oh wait, no, it's definitely going to be longer than that because I still got to do the outros and everything when I finish. All right, let's get to work. I'm going to put on music. Content, yes, content. I can't wait for people to be like, why the fuck is this so long? And then they start watching it and go, oh, because she really needs to elaborate for the people that are still insisting that this is the case. Sorry, I'm actually quite normal today, I promise. I'm just a bit hungry. It's crazy how food changes your mood. You wouldn't believe it. Sometimes I get into a really antsy mood. Oh, I'm hungry. That makes sense. I feel like I'm less angry when I'm hungry and more sorrowful. I feel like I become a pessimist when I'm hungry. Shut. Oh my god, don't call me that. Yeah, I get irritated a lot easier. Fun fact, that happens when you eat like shitty food as well. I say this as I'm ordering like fried chicken. But you get mood swings if you don't eat, and you get mood swings if you're eating exclusively shitty foods. Just can't win on this earth. Immediately I'm looking for an image. Oh, sorry, Bobbis. Truly, the longest thing it takes me to do when editing is finding like images and shit. I'm looking for a person raising hand in crowd, and I'm just getting like church worship raising hand. That's not what I'm looking for. I guess raising a hand in class. Oh wait, this one's a good one. No, I found one that I like. Something I'll never forgive Google for is removing the automatic search with Google Images right-click. Because they replaced that with search this image with Google Lens. That's fine, but Google Lens does more. Wait, I'm stupid. I can in fact exact match it. Oh, never mind. Google, I hate you for many things, but I attacked you unjustly just then. Never mind, I'm just old. I'm just old, don't fucking listen to me. I just figured that out just now. Okay, okay. I'm just old. I'm old and in the way, don't listen to me. The thing about enlarging the Sunny for Loki respectfully cracks me up, because how the fuck is anyone else gonna function on that ship? How on God's green earth is Sanji going to cook properly in a fucking gigantuum kitchen? It just doesn't make sense. Banana, go play your game. Hello, aren't you? Oh, you left the call. Oh yeah, no one's online. Sorry, IRL friend group. No one's online tonight. Everyone's busy. Adults, am I right? Loki can walk. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ramen Fist. Okay. Photo noise to Loki hides the ship in him. Damn, I didn't consider that. Guy raising a hand. It is not Okay. I've got a cat next to me, by the way. If you hear like jingling or anything, that's her. But I think she's about to go crazy because she's got that look in her eye. See, this is a really good image. I'm glad I found this one. I like how everyone's looking at him with a little bit of like disdain.
Hi, puppies. Hi, puppies. Hello.
Did they get paid for these stock photos? You wanna know what my theory is? Loki's not joining the crew. All these, how do we get Loki on the ship? How do we get Loki with the crew? Guys, it's not happening. I've played these games before. I just cannot believe it. How many times can Oda do this to you? What, like, why is this time? This time. This time. I don't understand why this time is definitely different. Like... It's cracking me up. Because he doesn't have anyone. Yes, he does. He loves Elbaf. He loved his dad. He clearly wants a relationship with his brother. It's gonna happen. They're fun. It's fun. Okay, alright. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm just shut all over you guys. I just said stop playing with your fucking Barbie dolls. Go do your taxes. Do you want to know what I think about Lola and Loki? I think she just didn't like him. Sometimes you just don't like someone romantically like that. She just wanted, in combination with her mother wanted her to marry Loki as well. Lola didn't want to get married for politics. She didn't want to get married because her mum told her to. She wanted to get married for love. I think Loki could have been everything perfect to her. And she still would have said no, because I just think she didn't want to get married for politics. Low-key, not interested. Mm-hmm. Lola's a romantic because she, proposes to everyone. How romantic is that? She just wants to find love. Actually, I saw some people getting mad at the aspect of Loki and Shirahoshi. And some people were like, you just want Shirahoshi and Loki together because you don't like that Lola is, not, like, attractive for, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Unconventionally, that she's, conventionally not attractive. While I do believe, yes, there are some guys out there that are doing that, and they just, because, oh, Shirahoshi's the prettier one. No, for me, not the case. Not the case. It's because the, like, contrast of Shirahoshi and Loki is so fucking funny. Especially considering that Loki is actually a softie on the inside. And he's actually not wanting to like be this outwardly aggressive person that he is. He's just a tsundere. It's the equivalent of big tough guy holding a cute little stuffed animal, right? But he has this little squirrel and that's cute too. But I just think the contrast of Shirahoshi and Loki, and also the ways in which they would help each other, one being more forward and one being trying to be more softer, would be beautiful. Like, Loki can very much help Shirahoshi be a lot more aggressive, because that's what Luffy was trying to do, right? Luffy was like, you gotta get out there. You gotta be tough. You gotta throw some fists sometimes, right? Loki would be great for that with Shirahoshi in that aspect. And then Shirahoshi would be like, and you just gotta be a little bit openly softer, because she knows he's soft. It's Shirahoshi. He's talking to Shirahoshi. They can also be friends. See, guys, I can like straight ships. I can like things that are hetero. I personally wouldn't mind if they were romantic. I think they're cute. I don't give a fuck about the age gap. I don't give a fuck. Loki is not an old fucking man. I don't care. I don't care. I think people are caring too much. She's a huge fucking mermaid. She's as big as a building. If she likes him, she likes him. I don't care. God, Loki's not some old man creep. Calm down. I just think people bring that shit up because they don't like it. So they're like, I'm gonna try and make other people feel weird about it. I honestly don't give a shit. He's a giant that lives for how many years? Right? How many years? Like, he ages differently, and then Loki, Shirahoshi is a fucking mermaid as big as a building. Right? As big as a building. That's fine. Vanderdecken doesn't age the same as Loki, does he? This is what I'm talking about. We're talking about a fictional series with fictional characters that age in fictional different ways. Gaban looks 1,000,000 times older than his wife. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck because he was around the same age when he... Do we understand that if Shirahoshi and Loki do get together, she's going to get older than him? Like, we understand that, right? It can sound strange to you. That's fine. I'm saying I'm not looking at this realistically because one is a huge fucking mermaid as big as a building and another one is a giant also as big as a building who doesn't age the same way. Yeah, it sounds weird when you're talking about it in the real world. Of course it fucking does. That is illegal and gross. I'm not talking about the real world. I'm talking about a mermaid and a giant. Like, everyone calm down. I just don't care. I truly don't care. Like, I don't know. It seems it's not that serious is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it's not that serious. Gaban and Ripley have the same age, so they actually don't. Because Ripley's actually aging slower than him. Did you know that? They are not the exact same age. Maybe at one point they were, but he's getting older and he will die before her. Right? He's a giant that is aging differently to her. Like, she's going to get older than him. Are we understanding this? It's just, I'm sorry, it's bizarre to me. I feel like it's weird applying real world logistics to this. It feels super weird applying real world logistics to this. They were born the same year. What? Gaban and Ripley? They couldn't have been. They couldn't have been because Colin is older than Luffy. Right? He's older than Luffy. I understand what you're saying, Gargoyle. I'm saying to you, if that's weird, that's fine. But I'm not thinking about it realistically. I'm thinking this is a mermaid as big as a building. She's as big as a fucking building. Right? If she likes Loki, then she likes Loki. I don't feel weird about that. But I'm not thinking about it realistically. Because this is a giant that is aging differently and a huge fucking mermaid. Right? So honestly, I personally don't care. I honestly don't care, but so many people are trying to make it weird and I'm like, I just don't think it's that weird because they're huge, they're two huge fictional beings. So I'm like, whatever. It is what it is. I don't know. Am I not woke enough? Maybe I'm not woke enough. Maybe I've grown up on like a lot of media that has done that. So I just kind of don't give a fuck. Like Twilight, right? Twilight did that. And so many people talk about, oh, that was kind of weird. But guess what? They still like Twilight. So I just kind of don't care. Loki's mental age. I mean, he's probably around the same as Luffy, is he not? Twilight is awful. No, I agree that Twilight sucks, but what I'm saying is I just don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. The Notebook, awful. I heard Dungeon Meshi spoke on it, yeah. Again, maybe I'm not woke enough, but it's not the first thing I think of when I look at those two, right? Not in any capacity. So yeah, blame the author for being weird. The point is, Loki and Shirahoshi can be cute. So I'm not gonna let people try and make me think it's weird. Because again, they're not real. That's kind of what it comes down to. They're just not real. It's a mermaid and a giant. And I like their characters and I like their dynamic. I am not gonna be scared away from it. It's like Pudding and Sanji. So many people are trying to, like, they're trying to be like, Sanji's such a creep for that, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people talk about Sanji like he's a really, really old man when he is younger than me, by the way. Don't get me wrong. If Pudding is 16, it's still weird. I agree that it's still weird. But at the end of the day, I like their characters and I like their chemistry and I like their dynamic. And because they're not real, I can easily ignore the fact that if Pudding does have a canonical age, by the way, which she doesn't. And because Pudding doesn't, like, look like a fucking infant, I'm not looking at it and going, oh god, this is just so weird. Because not a single point in Whole Cake Island is their age is ever brought up, by the way. Ever. So it's never even, like, talked about. So I just don't really care. I don't really care because I was expecting that to happen and then it never happens. I don't know. I just don't. Zim, we're talking about Shirahoshi and Loki and some people are being like, but isn't it weird? And I'm saying, I don't care. I kind of don't care because I'm sorry. I see it as I see it, it's a fiction. I see it as a fiction. I'm not looking at them and thinking of real life people their age when I look at them. And some people can't do that, right? Some people can't do that. And that's fine. It's fine. It can be weird. It can be weird. Like, it is still weird if true. Mm-hmm. Right? Colin is 20. That's what's getting me. So Colin's 20 years old, technically. But Loki and Shirahoshi's weird. I don't know. It's just strange to me. That's what I mean. In this story, Pudding's age is not even addressed. It's not even addressed. Oda doesn't even say it. It's speculation and a Vivre card, I believe, which is what really gets me. We wouldn't even know unless you look outside the manga. So that's why I was reading it and I was like, what? Like, I was like, I don't understand. It's not even said in the story. I just don't, which is why it's like, I kind of don't care. Colin's older than Luffy, physically, which is why it's cracking me up. I don't know, it's just, we talk, what gets me is like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's weird. What I really don't like, and this is something that I really, really don't like, is when people say, no, but the age of consent in Japan or blah, blah, blah. Fun fact, the age of consent in Australia is 16. That's not for creeps to be creeps. There's still laws stopping that from happening. I hate when people try to justify it realistically, because that's creepy. That's weird. We can stop at, that's weird, but at the end of the day, it's a fictional story. We can move on. I fucking hate when people try to justify this shit with realistic legality. Stop doing that. That's weird. That's weird. That is weird as fuck. I'm not looking at like Shirahoshi and going, but the age of consent, that's fucking weird. That's gross. That's disgusting. I hate when people do that because I'm in a country that has that law, and I think it's a perfectly, totally fine law because I've talked about this. That's for teenagers to be safe, right? That's not for adults to be creepy towards teenagers. It's still illegal for that to happen. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not for people to be creepy. It's for teenagers to be safe with other teenagers, right? So many people try and justify something fictional they've seen with real life legality. That is fucking weird. That is weird. It is so weird. Stop doing that. Because it's telling me you are going, oh, 16-year-old real life girls can like be in this situation. What the fuck? That is weird. I don't like when people do that. I think it's fine to be like looking at Shirahoshi and say, personally, I find that a bit weird because in the story, she's said to be 16. Okay. And I think it's fine for other people, someone like me, to be like, well, I am reading a fictional story and she's a huge mermaid. So I personally am not super weirded out or grossed out by anything unless the story itself addresses it, such as Vanderdecken, right? I think that's also fine. But I think it's so wrong to then realistically try and argue that. It's weird. Stop doing it! I just hate when people do that. It's so gross. It is so disgusting to me. Just be civil. It's also like only men that do that. I've never heard another woman who has the same ideas I do with how they're reading like stuff like One Piece in regards to like Shirahoshi being in story age 16 and then them not caring, because there's plenty of other women like me out there who look at Shirahoshi and they go, well, I mean, I'm reading a fictional series, this is a fictional character, right? I personally don't truly feel super creeped out about that. And then I've never heard them justify that by going, but in the real world, I've never heard a woman do that. I only hear men do that. That's why it's also super creepy. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. We're allowed to have differing opinions on how we feel about our fiction and how we consume our fiction. We do not have to bring real world legality into it. It's just weird. It's so much creepier. But also, no, it's creepy. It's just creepy. Just stop doing it. Just say, well, personally, I just don't care, and move on. You're allowed to say, personally, I just don't care. No, fiction can, because Zim, it's a two-way street. Because here's the thing, stuff like fiction and how it affects reality, stuff like that was part of my university course, right? So this is why when I talk about this, it's online, it's gotten a lot rougher, I will say, on how this stuff is addressed. It seems to be either black or white. Fun fact, it's not black or white. When we say stuff like fiction affects reality, it doesn't always. It's that simple. It's not that black or white. Black or white. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it strongly affects it. Other times, it doesn't do fucking anything. Right? Sorry, my food's nearly here. And you and I are examples of that. When I watch a series like Saw, right? The Saw series, I do not then want to go out and start torturing people. That's why it's not black and white. It gets to a point. It gets to a point of how impressionable you are. And also gets to a point of if you already have that urge inside you to do that stuff. Truly, it's not as simple as everyone makes it seem. Which is an interesting topic. Hang on, my chicken's here. Give me a sec, I'll be back. Think of this while I get my chicken. Sorry everyone, my delivery driver was a confused old man who did not know how phones work. So he was showing me his phone like, it's not, I don't know what to press. And I was like, mate, I don't know what you need to press either. I'm this, like, you're, like, I don't know what you want me to do. He was like, your address. I was like, yeah, that's my address. And he went, what do I press? Bitch, I don't know. I don't work here. And it was raining as well. I just washed my hair. Oh. I did not sacrifice him. Sorry, let me wash my hands actually. Sorry guys. Nearly passed out, but I made your sauce. That was my sauce. Now what are we talking about? Right, because I have to eat anyway. When it comes to, what is this? Oh. I don't know. My chicken does not look coated. Oh my god, everything's going wrong. When it comes to, the... No, fiction cannot. When it comes to fiction versus reality and the conversation that a lot of people have been having online, it's so cut and dry to a lot of people. And I have to tell you guys, it is sometimes weird because there are some people that will be like, we shouldn't have this type of violence in media because then that encourages like people to be this type of violent. And sometimes that weirds me out because I look at people saying that and I think some people, or you, like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you telling me that when you watch this stuff of like this type of violence, you get the urges to do that? Do you know what I mean? Because we're all different. We all have a different perception and a different way of how what we watch affects us. So some people can watch fucking anything and just not feel much. Like they'll just be like, okay, I guess that was something. Some people can watch like a media that is somewhat disturbing and be entirely disturbed by it. Do you know what I mean? It comes down to just who you are personally. And this is why I really like BoJack Horseman, because for BoJack Horseman, they had two different types of people on that side. The creator of BoJack Horseman, Waxberg, he is very affected by what he watches. Very affected. It'll affect him for weeks. So BoJack Horseman for him was very important in pushing like behaviors that he wanted to both show were bad and show should not be replicated. but his other co-writers that he had with him and his other co-creators were the opposite of him. They can watch something and be affected by it, but not to the extent he's affected by it. So it's like, it's why when you watch something and you have a different reaction or a different like idea coming out of it, it's why it's different from someone else. We just all have different ways of being affected by something. We all have different levels, I suppose, to what we can stand to see. Because does anyone remember that violent, like, mums against violent video game shit? Letting a book or show dictate your morality. Yeah. Does anyone... The lamb for the soda. But does anyone remember when, Sorry, everyone, I'm just realizing they didn't season my chicken properly with what I wanted. Anyway. Does anyone remember the video game, Moms Against Violent Video Games thing, where like back in the 2000s, it was just an onslaught of, no, we have to stop video games from being violent. No, violent video games are making our children violent. For some kids, yes. Especially if you are a child, you are very susceptible to what you watch. That's why a lot of shows for kids would say, don't replicate anything you see at home. We are adults. The idea of us being adults is when we watch something violent, we do not need someone to tell us, do not replicate what you're seeing, because we should already know not to do that. We should have a developed frontal lobe that is able to differentiate fiction from reality. It's not a direct influence, that much is true. There are people that can definitely be subconsciously affected. You can be subconsciously affected. Everyone is subconsciously affected. But at the end of the day, so long as you are not acting out anything violent, anything disgusting, because you know you should not do that. Do you understand what I mean? No, there is still easily. I think it's fine to be easily influenced by what you watch, but just because you are easily influenced doesn't mean you should be telling other people to stop watching that, right? And at the end of the day, what a lot of people will end up acting on, I truly believe whether the media that they watched that had them feeling like they should act upon it were there or not, they still would have acted on it. It can normalize behaviors. No, that's true. Diane and BoJack Horseman also talked about it. Media can normalize things for bad or for good. But just because something is normalized doesn't mean you yourself have to act upon it. Do you know what I mean? Like, again, violence. Media is never going to normalize torturing people, right? The Saw series is never going to normalize torturing someone. It's never going to normalize any like horrific ideas into the world. While it can be in the back of some people's heads and they can get subconsciously affected by it, I've been watching the Saw series ever since I was a teen. To this day, I'm still like, yeah, that's disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Oh no. There's also so propaganda is a whole other ballgame. So this is how I explain it. There's fictional media and then there's propaganda. And propaganda works for the goal of trying to normalize something, right? Trying to change your mind on something. That's why when sometimes you watch something, you can say, this feels a bit preachy. It probably is preachy. But like, Saw is not standing up and looking at me and saying, this is good. Like, do you know what I mean? It just depends. Look, this is why you just have to be critical thinking. It's why you have to think about everything you watch and read. And why you have to step back and say, actually, that's not normal, right? For example, oh my god, a huge one is yaoi. So many people are talking about yaoi this, yaoi that, yaoi being bad, yaoi being good, yaoi being fetishy. I am never going to look at real life gay men and treat them the way I read yaoi. I'm never going to look at real life gay men and think, yeah, this is yaoi. Do you know what I mean? However, yaoi has legitimately helped people with homophobia. I know that sounds stupid. I know that sounds crazy, but it has. Yaoi in certain aspects have also helped with like people accepting queerness. That sounds fucking weird. I know that sounds weird, but studies have been done and it has done that. Yes, there's yaoi studies. It's both good and bad influence. At the end of the day, this is shit that I've studied in my university course, right? At the end of the day, it just comes down to who you are. It comes down to how susceptible are you. It comes down to, are you thinking about every single thing you're watching and reading? If the answer is no, you should be. If the answer is no, you should come out of watching something and think, what was that trying to tell me, if anything at all? What did I get from that? And of course, if you feel yourself falling down a deranged rabbit hole because you're starting to watch too many, let's say, gross things or like violent things, then you pull yourself back and you stop. Because that's borderline like delusional and borderline getting to an addiction. Do you know what I mean? That's why there's porn addictions. And that's why we then blame porn for that. And it's like men, a lot of men who have it they've never, like, they're not going to be good to women just because we take porn away. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's this belief that porn is making men more misogynistic. No, actually, men have always been that misogynistic. They were even a lot worse back in like the 1950s times. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going backwards because of porn. I promise you. It's simply because we're not teaching them the effects of it. We're not teaching them, like, this is a fictional thing. It is a reflection, right? I don't know. It's just, everyone has a different answer to this. Some people won't agree with me on this. That's fine. But a lot of people just, they cry bloody murder about it. And it's like, it can be really bad and it can be damaging, but it truly does come down to how people are personally affected. Like, the way I talk about it is, just because there are alcoholics in the world, does that mean we should stop anyone from having a drink? That's how I see it. We know that alcohol has certain effects on people. We know that it can be really bad for some people. So should we just take away alcohol for everyone forever because of certain people? Right? No, we don't. We help those certain people instead of limiting it for everybody. That's how I've always viewed it. But this is like media censorship now that I'm talking about. The item... I haven't even taken a bite yet. Oh. Yeah, I've gone to therapy. Therapy is interesting. Therapy is interesting because this is also a talks of. There are a lot of people that write, like, again, it's back and forth. There are a lot of people that write fictionally, I want to say fictionally deranged things. I have this personal belief, not everyone agrees with it. I have a personal belief that you can write anything, even if it's disgusting. And I have that personal belief because it is a taboo fictional realm. Just, there's no need to publish it. Do you know what I mean? There's no need to tell anybody. But for some people, it can help. Therapy has a similar mindset of, you should not feel bad for what you're writing fictionally. However, for some people, it doesn't help. For some people, writing fictional taboos can make you feel worse mentally. It can make you go down a rabbit hole, spiral mentally. And for therapists, a lot of people say, well, therapists say we can do this. Some do, some don't. It's person to person. It depends on the patient. It depends on who you are. It is true, everything influences. But of course, that's why we have to think about everything we're watching. With the idea that everything influences, we must think of everything we're watching. Because there are many authors who've put their work out into the world and it's done something, it's twisted into something they didn't want it to be. Because that's the other thing. You can write your series or your fiction to be something, and then it gets turned into something else out there. And it's just like, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. There's no helping it. It's going to be turned into something you don't want it to be. Whether that be for better or whether that be for worse, that's what's happened. A good example I can think of for that is Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny was never meant to be a drag icon, a queer icon, perhaps even a trans icon. Bugs Bunny was never supposed to be that. Bugs Bunny has now become a queer icon and a drag icon. The creator of Bugs Bunny literally said he never intended it to be that way. It was just supposed to be comedy, but he's happy with it. He's fine with it, right? And this is why when people say, when, for example, I talk about Sanji and I talk about Sanji's past story for Whole Cake Island, there are queer allegories here. And the queer allegories are Sanji was born different. Sanji was not accepted by his family. Sanji was disowned by his own blood father due to being born different. Do I think Oda intended to write a queer allegory with Sanji? No. Do I think it's stupid when other people call others stupid for saying that seeing a queer allegory in Sanji's story is dumb? Yes. It doesn't have to be intentional for people of certain groups to feel it, right? No, Blueberry, I'm eating chicken. Oops. But this is why we study these things. This is why we study stuff like fiction and fictional stories. I think it kind of depends, Yanarina. Because sometimes I can say, well, it is just a joke, right? When I watch something. And sometimes it's like, there feels something deeper than a joke there. Like, again, it truly differs from case to case. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. I haven't eaten yet. I'm so hungry. Also, I'm emotionally intelligent. I try to be. But I went to university. Like, what I'm talking about is quite literally it was my university course. Either way, what I'm trying to say is if you enjoy, let's say, sensitive medias and you feel guilty for that, there's also something very Catholic about that. So long as you are critically thinking about what you're watching and reading, so long as how you act and how you feel in the real world does not reflect the sensitive things that you are watching or reading, that are fictional, by the way, no one is actually physically getting hurt within the media that you're watching or reading. That's very important. That's a very important thing to decipher. Then I feel like that's the mature thing. If you feel guilt, you know there's an issue. Gimblet, that's a very dangerous way to think. Because a lot of people will watch something queer and feel guilt. A lot of people will watch something with a beautiful fictional woman and feel guilt. No, if you feel guilt, there is not an issue. Again, it depends on. Exactly, that's what I mean. There's literally something called like Catholic guilt. Where certain things you watch that aren't even taboo, mind you, they're just taboo within like what it is and what you've grown up as, and you feel guilt, right? That's bad. But it's true, if you feel guilt, you should step back and analyze why you're feeling guilt. I can finally eat. If you take bad shit into your system, you get worse. Bad media, bad politics is bad. But what is classified as bad media? For example, the Saw series. Would that be classified as bad media? I've been consuming that since I was a teenager, the whole thing. Is that bad media? Many would say it is. Am I being worse? Am I becoming bad because I'm enjoying bad media? I don't think I am. The Transformers movie. These are really good cheese sticks, by the way, in case anyone wanted to know. Twilight's a good one. Because for a lot of people, Twilight fucked them up. Twilight made them romanticize a unhealthy relationship. For a lot of other people, Twilight didn't make them fantasize anything as such. God, there was an example I was thinking of. Oh, my own example. For example, I like dark fiction such as dark romance. I like when a dark romance tends to be more abusive in nature, more abusive in writing. Not because I'm searching that out and not because I'm watching that and I want to replicate it, but because that's something I can explore in a fictional realm and see what is. Do you know what I mean? When I watch a bad media or I watch a dark media, I can identify the problems through that dark media and it can come around back into the real world. Because I can identify an abusive relationship through fiction, I can now identify one, hopefully, through reality and know what not to look for. But there's also, it's like watching a car crash. There's something sickeningly interesting about watching just badness, right? Especially abusive romance. Isn't it just something that for not everyone, of course, but for those who do, there's something curious about it. But I don't watch it because I want it. Right? The morbid fascination, that's what I was looking for. Actually, I read a post that was like someone saying there is also a thing where you like them but you choose not to pursue them. You can indulge in fiction. That also does exist. I promise you I do not have the want to be in an abusive relationship. I promise. But God, what was I going to say? There was a post and I think about this all the time. Also, explore toxic stuff in fiction. This is why it gets me when it's like people say children's media shouldn't be... I'm not even talking taboo here. I'm talking about like violence in children's media. When people be like, children's media shouldn't have this or this or that. Children's media can be so important for that. Children's media for like showing death especially is so important because a child can feel the feelings of what it is like to lose a loved one through a fictional realm, which is a safety thing. It's like a safety net. And so if they ever experience that in their lives, which they inevitably will, especially when they're young, that media could have helped them emotionally, right? So many people go, oh, old kids' cartoons were so dark. No, new kids' cartoons are just cowards. They're just more commercialized and more shiny. Bluey mentioned, it really does depend on what the head you have on your shoulders. What showed from Gumball. But it's like, well, oh, so the post I was talking about was, it was a Tumblr post, and I think about this every day, and it said, I'm of the opinion that women can write and read whatever the fuck they want. But men need to be monitored. And I had to fucking think about that. Because I believe that's true. I don't think, like, don't get me wrong, women can also look at fiction and be heavily affected by it. Do you know how many men will watch or read something and now they've modeled their whole fucking entire life of what they have watched and read, American Psycho is such a big one. Because American Psycho was literally, hey, this guy fucking sucks. And then the amount of guys who were like, I'm the alpha Chad. Can you get a personality? Can you get your own life? Like, Fight Club is another one. That's also just taking in what the original message was wrong. BoJack Horseman, for fuck's sake. The author of BoJack Horseman was so horrified at how men were watching his show and justifying their actions through being comfortable in seeing BoJack Horseman that the final season was about derailing that and saying, no, if you see yourself on BoJack Horseman, there's a problem and you need to fix yourself. Walter White is another one. And again, I'm not saying this in black and white. It's like the post, of course, seemed quite black and white. But to the extent of how so many men will watch something and become so, like, dependent on what they watched. Dependent as in they are now going to be modeling themselves off of that. They're going to be thinking of their own morals in regards to that. It is bizarre. And this is like, this isn't a pseudoscience. Like, I'm not making this a science. I'm saying that is what has happened. That's why we have the fucking manosphere, for God's sake. And man spaces. Red pill as well. Again, I'm not saying women don't do that. I'm saying the extent of how that happens to men is insane. It's truly insane. My belief is because a lot of guys don't have an emotional group to be able to talk to. Like, they don't have the emotional help that they turn to a lot of media for that. Like, they don't have the emotional support in the way women do because of patriarchal society, right? We can't talk about our feelings. We can't talk about who we want to be. Can't talk about this, can't talk about that. So then they turn to watch something and suddenly it consumes them in very dangerous ways. King, exactly. Inspirational, just copy. But yeah, I think about that post a lot because I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Anyway. I'm sure there have been studies done on it, actually. The effects of media and men. There's definitely been studies done on that. What's your video question? Yay, 1 year. Case in point, think about everything you read and watch. Everything. Always. Actually, children loving Five Nights at Freddy's. That's morbid curiosity. We as humans just enjoy a thrill. We enjoy being scared. Kids shouldn't watch something scary. They know they shouldn't watch something scary. And they watch it anyway. Because they can't help it. They're just curious. What makes it scary? Why am I scared? I'm now seeing the fucking Hat Man in my room. King, unless they're called the vice captains, no. Babies fucking love jump scares. You hear that? You're all babies. All of yous. You're all babies. The reason I talk about this, by the way, is because when I was young, and by young I mean a teenager, how do I deal with existential dread? I read Zosan Yaoi. It's not even a joke. I have existential dread. I go, well, I'm gonna die soon, and then I go, but at least I can read the Yaoi while I'm alive. Anyway, when I was younger, a teenager, my mum was like watching me watch Saw. So I was like 16, and she was like, can you like, she was like to me, if I showed you a dead body or a dead person, would you be desensitized to it? And I went, what? She was being a good mum in all fairness, but she was like, would you recognize that that is a dead person? And I was like, yes. What are you talking? Like, I don't want to look at a real life corpse. What are you talking about? And in all fairness, she was just trying to make sure I wasn't becoming a weirdo with what I was watching. But I think about that a lot when she said that to me. Mel, are you gonna make a Saw room? Jigsaw but pink? You're right. You're actually all right. I should just start killing people. This movie told me I should. Sorry, my existential question. A connection between queerness and Saw? No, but there are queer people in Saw. Oh, queerness is a horror thing, yeah. Oh. Oh, hey, dog. Alright, I gotta keep editing. I've done like one thing. To be fair, I do like a psychopath. I do look like I do like a psychopath. Oh my god. I do look like a psychopath when I watch Saw because I'm like laughing. And like, what the fuck? This is like horrific. How are you laughing at it? Because it's just ridiculous. It's just so many levels of ridiculous that I can't help it. I truly can't help it. I'm sorry, it's cracking me up. How does he have all these warehouses? Where's he getting all these bits from his gadgets from? Why is the plot twist in every Saw movie the exact same thing? Nah, I'm too much of a pussy to kill anyone. Oh, I was gonna say, sorry I can't give you an answer for existential dread. While I have definitely felt that in my lifetime, I genuinely shrug it off with a nihilistic, it is what it is. Like, being a nihilist is probably... Because my nihilism is not nothing matters, it's nothing matters. Nothing matters. So, you know, live and be good. Who cares? Who cares if your goodness doesn't affect into the futures? Nothing matters. Help that old lady cross the street, who cares? Read Yowie, who cares? Nothing matters. Well, there's a real comfort in the universe doesn't owe me anything. There's a real comfort in I am not special. So my life is mine, you know? As Mob Psycho 100 said, your life is your own. I love Whiplash. Not my tempo. That's a good example of how would you interpret that media. Abusive mentor relationships are bad. The end of Whiplash, the abusive mentor relationship gives him the push that he needs. So how do we interpret this? Of course, my belief is still, no, they're still fucking bad. They're still bad. But I'm sure many people would come out of that with a different opinion than me. Not my tempo. I need that kind of motivator. Kaysen, I didn't even know he said that. But I think that's kind of meaningless because it doesn't happen in the movie. And many people will not know that or not read that. Well, this is what gets me about Glass Onion. I watched it and I made that tweet that was like, is he gay? And people were like, oh, he had his husband there. He's explicitly gay. He's actually not explicitly gay. It's actually interpreted. You have to interpret it as such. And that really frustrated me when people were like, oh no, it's clearly there. It's clearly there. Yes, it is, but I still had to double check because it could have just been jokes. It could have just been jokes, right? And the reason that I actually realized, oh, I think he's gay is not because of his Hugh Grant house husband, but because of the spray joke at the beginning where he doesn't gag. And when he stands in front of that statue with its whole ass in his face, and I was like, wait a minute, hang on a minute. Because I legitimately thought his Hugh Grant husband was just like a housekeeper. I truly did not interpret that as his husband. He was literally at the door in an apron. And I was like, oh, he's got a housekeeper and he's cooking for him. Like, I didn't see it as anything else. But so many people like, that was his husband. Okay, they never say it is. There's not even a scene of them together. Like, I'm sorry, but I would have liked just one thing of like, yeah, my husband's home. Just something. That's on me. Not in the world I live in. Not in my world, it's not on me. But what gets me is people saying it's like explicit. It's not explicit because it's not actually stated. It's not explicitly stated at all. And they were roommates. I haven't seen the final Knives Out. The director said it. Actually, no, the director didn't say it. Hugh Grant said it. But again, that's not... Like, it's not just me. Tons of people who are not queer themselves, such as my parents, are not going to see that as gay. That's how it's subliminal. It's subliminal? It's subtext. It's not explicit. It's subtext if they don't outwardly say it. Right? No, it's still representation. It's just, it's hidden. Oh, Dorian Broggy, they've always been eccentric. Don't get me started. They've always been eccentric. Fuck, that was funny. Three is good. 3 is the best. Wow, we've got differing opinions here. 2 was the first one I watched. I liked it. I want Imu's gender to matter simply because I do not want Imu to be a woman. Because Imu is the literal cause of despair, oppression, bigotry, and everything in One Piece. And imagine if that were a woman. First of all, okay, Margaret Thatcher. Second of all, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. In another world, she could have been a cool evil girl boss. But that would be taken entirely the wrong way. All I know is the elders of the world, the ones that run the world, are literally a bunch of old white men. They are all old men. And I was like, that is so fucking on the nose and based of Oda to do that. Sorry, one of them is Asian. But they are all old men. And I was like, that's so base that he's done that. So if he suddenly turns around and goes, actually, the cause of this all was a woman, I am going to be like, no, you were so close. Unless Imu has a fucking fantastic backstory to go with it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. The reason I don't want Imu to be a woman is just because of what the existence of Imu is. Just like the concept of all this suffering was caused because of one woman. I'd be like, fuck. Eve bit the apple. Mama, it'll knock your tits off. Not just your socks. Oh, dick twist. Who is this fucking guy? What do I think about muscle mummies? Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm glad they exist. The world's brighter with them in it.
Howdy do, boys.
Howdy do. Kill! You're off to wake the little dogs. Is it school day for day? School day for day? Is it school day for the dogs? What even was the original question in this clip? The kill video is being, the kill part is being taken out. I'm sorry. It's not relevant. Don't get too excited now. Name something you'd like your girl to do with your face. Sit on it! Context is I would something for sex. Seriously? Pay, beg, lie. Beg? That cannot be. You're lying. It's a joke. There's no way that's it. I would kill for sex. That cannot be. You're fucking with me. Yeah, you can zoom in slowly on a clip. Is it actually? Seriously? Now kill? Beg. Sanji was the 12 one of the 12 people that said beg. No, it's not that. That's the question for the adult eps. I'm not asking. I'm saying these answers are fucking crazy for that to be the question. What's for? What would you do for sex? Star jumps? Better myself as a human being? I don't know. Because don't get me wrong, I do consider myself quite the pervert. But kill? For sex? Is it really that hard to get laid? Damn. Just tell me what the last one was. What was number 4? There's a hair in my chicken. It's hard. Die. Jesus. But how can it be a... Man, I'd kill for some situation. Because there's pay and lie. And beg. Like, that's telling me there's something serious going on here. Right? That's crazy. I'll do anything! Please. Have you guys seen the videos of like my boyfriend wants to stay the night, so I've made him do a dance, like an interpretive dance, to see if he can like stay? I fuck with that. I think more people should be saying, you wanna fuck? Dance for me first. I think we should be doing that more. You know why? Because I'd dance. I would 100% dance. If it was a beautiful woman and she said dance for me first. Yeah, yep. Yes, ma'am. Oh, and the kicker is I'm not even a good dancer. Due to worm. We just came in from the club. The fact that you're bargaining to not dance means you're not good enough. Get out. Get out of her bedroom. I mean, there are other topics I want to make, but at this point in time, I just cannot fucking stop talking about One Piece. No, I've never really felt pigeonholed. When I make this content, it's because I'm obsessed with it. I want to keep talking about it. I'll try to dance and trip and get injured, so I cannot leave. You are going to be kicked to the curb. Kicked to the curb with your injured ankle. Nice try. You failed at dancing. Yeah, it's interpretive. One Piece is pigeonholed into Mel. Yeah. The jerk? Disabled people can dance. Thank you very much. How dare you imply that they cannot dance? Even if they are in a mobility chair, you can still do a bit of a... You know what I mean? Like, even if you're fully paralyzed, you can move with your chair. Do a little spin. You've danced! Everyone can dance. It's a human right. The dance is called the jerk. Tap your foot a little bit, you know? I think everyone dancing is hilarious, personally. Vogue. Dancing is evil. That is true. I do indeed watch people dancing and feel Catholic guilt. Conductors have fucking crazy aura. Oh my god. Okay. No, conductors are unbelievably aura-filled. Did you watch Whiplash or did you not watch Whiplash? Are you kidding me? That man, though evil, had the most fucking aura in any film I've ever seen. Not my tempo. Just one, everyone stops. Oh! Unbelievable aura. Oh, I love this. I just love this art. Oh, they're so cute! They are so cute! Nami being scared to cross, Jinbe trying to help her, and Sanji also being like, I'll catch you, which is so fucking funny because he can fly. I think he just wants to have fun skipping along the ladder. And he's got a balloon. Sanji always moves like a horse. Also, Frankie's stopping kids really cute. I didn't actually see that until now. Let Jinbe sleep. Damn. Poor guy. With what he has to suffer through. What do I think about Luffy being on the front of the Shonen Jump covers? Deserved is what I think. No one else should be there. Get them off. Luffy for over 25 years now has been continuously eating other Shonen Jump MCs. And he only becomes more powerful. Nah, Japan's Mickey Mouse is like Hello Kitty, not Luffy. Yes, especially for the last chapter of Hero Academia. Fuck that kid! Get that kid out of here! I think Goku would be Japan's Superman. Luffy is Japan's... Spider-Man! That's a good one. No, that's a good one. I give him Spider-Man. But to be fair, Spider-Man is Japan's Spider-Man. I'm looking for a specific art. Why is it I never find the arts when I want them? I'm looking for Luffy's aura-filled art from a Water 7 cover. Which I know I have. That's Arlong Park. There it is. Ora! Why are you aura farming next to a little girl? Weirdo. Like, damn, let Robin have some spotlight. He's crying behind the hat. He fucking hates kids. Get her away from me. No, I don't try to avoid talking about IRL politics. I've talked about IRL politics. To be fair, the issue with in real life politics for me is I'm not fully educated on everything. So while I can give my opinion, I'm not, how do I explain this? Like Sarah, for example, my friend Sarah, my Discord mod, she also was in my videos. She's incredibly politically educated in what's happening globally with politics. I'm quite bad with keeping up with that. So my fear is I can give you my opinion of what's happening politically in the world, but I fear I may bring you guys down a misinformed path because I actually don't know everything. Of course, the recent thing I was really strongly politically talking about was Palestine. And I did a lot of work, like really trying to understand that historically and now to really talk to you guys in a educated way about that when I was really, I mean, it's still horrible right now. It's still really horrible. But my thing, the OP creator community for not talking about Palestine. I had someone say that to me too, and I answered that, and my answer was, I personally do not find it fully appropriate to really be like, and the genocide in the real world Palestine is just like this arc in One Piece. While I understand what that can mean, there's a reason why when I say things in One Piece can be realistic to the real world, it's why I keep that semi-vague. Because it feels, I don't know, doesn't it just, it feels a little bit like what you can do is you can compare what's happening. Like I talked about this with Law and Law's arc with his past in Flevance. I was very close to comparing that to Chernobyl due to the neglect that his city faced and due to the destruction his city faced due to the government not wanting to help anyone, right? But as I was writing my script, I was thinking, this just doesn't feel appropriate. This is a real life event that happened, that people still suffer from, and I'm saying it's just like this arc in a manga. While One Piece can be important to us, and while I can still say, wow, things are just like One Piece, and while I can still talk about real life events alongside One Piece, there is something that feels somewhat belittling about this genocidal massacre is happening and affecting real world people horrifically. It's just like this manga I'm reading. It's direct comparison. It is, because I talk about like Boa, and I talk about Boa Hancock and how realistic her treatment feels, and how a lot of Amazon Lily feels similar to what happened to a lot of women throughout history, especially, in my opinion, comfort women, which is how women were treated in South Korea and in China. Boa's character even symbolizes, or is not symbolizes, even is inspired from that of a Chinese empress, I believe. But because this is a Japanese manga, I don't feel it's appropriate to truly compare those side by side, because there'd be people out there that have been heavily affected by this real life thing who probably don't like One Piece or don't like these stories, and that would feel very belittling to them. You know? That's why when I make my video essays, I don't compare one to one, because it just doesn't feel right all the time. I think it's fine if you want to bring something that is fictional and has affected you to something political. An example I can think of is women will dress up as the handmaids from The Handmaid's Tale, because I've been watching it again recently, and they'll go to protests that are pro-women, pro-women's rights, pro-choice, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's fine to take something fictional that talks about these things and bring it to events like that. They did the same thing in Nepal when they took out their government, basically. They brought the Straw Hat flag with them and they flew it. That's fine. And now we can talk about One Piece in relation to that. We can talk about this, right? Because the direct people that it has affected has brought this as something that has affected themselves. But I don't know, like, do you guys see what I mean? Do you guys feel like if you stand a series about fighting evil in institutions, it's a valid question why you aren't allowed about happening in real life. That's true. That's exactly true. So no, here's the thing, if you ask me about it, I am going to answer you. I'm not going to be shy in my beliefs. So if you ask me about Palestine and say, do you believe it to be genocide? I'm going to say, yes, of course it's a fucking genocide. It's disgusting. And Israel is a genocidal state, or a genocide state. What's happening is disgusting. But I also do not feel it appropriate to then be like, also One Piece. It's just, wow, that's just like this arc. Sorry, Nepal, not Nepal, my bad, sorry. But I just feel, it doesn't feel right to be like, wow, this is just like One Piece. It just doesn't, it doesn't feel right. But yeah, there's such a hypocrite, it's so hypocritical to be like, whoa, One Piece, now I don't care about actually anything that happens in the real world, or I'm not about that in the real world. Okay, that's a bit weird. But no, I answer political questions when I get them. I'm quite vocal about it when I'm asked, of course. To be fair, I was gonna say, I think it's just what happens to a lot of us. I tend to talk about things politically that personally affect me more than what is happening globally. And unfortunately, that just tends to be what happens, which is something I probably need to work on. Like, do you know what I mean? If something political happens that personally affects me, I'm going to really keep talking about it. It's kind of selfish, isn't it? A little self-absorbed, yeah. No, it's true. I gotta dig myself out of that. The weapons they've been using burn and eviscerate targets at high temperatures, no trace of victims. Yep. Yep, Israel are quite literally breaking every fucking human rights violation they possibly can. It's just disgusting. I have indeed continued to read, of course, what's going on and keeping up on it. I just can't believe there are still people that are denying it's a genocide. I truly can't believe it. Like, I was saying this shit before this was the popular opinion. And I'm not saying that as in, look at me. I'm saying if you did a fucking iota of research, as I did, it'd be like, this is so cut and dry, it's unbelievable. It's so cut and dry, it's clear what's going on. But because there are people who are not doing any kind of research, or they are just Zionists, they're just not admitting to it, or they're just not seeing it. And it's like, you either live under a rock or you're incredibly bigoted. There's, like, truly, it's no in between with that. Because when it was first happening, I remember talking about it with Sarah. And my biggest issue... Well, here's the thing. I don't have a solution to the genocide. Of course I don't have a solution. Because my solution is just maybe first stop fucking killing people. Is perhaps the first thing we should do. But I don't have a solution to it. But the main thing is just stop killing thousands upon thousands of people. And maybe we can get to a solution. I do get along with my parents politically. My parents are very forward thinking. I'm quite fortunate. I'm very fortunate. My dad is very aware of all these things. And also, of course, discussed it in these things. Sadly, never going to happen. And isn't that just horrific? That it is a extreme thing to say maybe people should just not be dying in the thousands. Like, how crazy is that to be an extreme thing to say? I mean, another solution is maybe, you know, America and England can stop giving them millions upon millions of fucking dollars to continue their war crimes. Maybe! But it all circles around, because if America do that, then they don't have to think any more about it. It sounds like such a baby solution. It's not even a solution, that's just a step. Oh, Kaysen, I know. Kaysen, I always tell people with Australia, you've heard this, that I'm like, we're incredibly bigoted here. Incredibly. We just pretend not to be. By we, I of course mean overall the country as it is. I'm not saying I'm bigoted. I hope I'm not. Jesus. But this... We have a view, like a polished view to the world of we're so nice, we're so friendly. Maybe to certain peoples, but not exactly. Yeah, that is the reality of everyone, isn't it? Of every colonizer country. Anyway, TLDR and all of this, no. I'm not shy to talk about politics. It's just usually when I'm asked is when I talk about it. But I will certainly pop a fucking vein at people not understanding the weight of human life and seeing it as just numbers on a sheet of paper, right? People who do not understand that every number you see that's dead, of like a dead person, that was a human being who had feelings and thoughts. These are not just numbers. And the way people act like we're so far removed from it, that'll always infuriate me. No, I'm not a pacifist. Because if you look at every single uprising in human history in regards to people getting human rights, violence was involved. Simply because it's great to be a pacifist, but it's a privilege to be a pacifist. And the reason it's a privilege to be a pacifist is because you're not getting pushed to a point. You can just say, we can all hold our hands and sing Kumbaya. Right? We can all hold our hands and sing Kumbaya. What a lovely dream that is. Unfortunately, some people don't want to hold our hands and sing Kumbaya. They actively want to kill us. So what are we supposed to do? For example, it's why I like, speaking of One Piece, it's why I like the Revolutionary Army in One Piece. Because they are called the Revolutionary Army. They do physically violent things. But it's because the world government will not hold their hands. The oppressors will not hold their hands, especially of the people they are killing. So they've got no choice. It's why I like Kuma being a pacifist. Kuma is a pacifist. He's a pacifist in a world that's pushing him to be violent. There's fucking nothing he can do. He must be physically strong and show some physical, like that physical strength to help people. Because there's also the question in One Piece of placed, you know, time and place violence. What is gratuitous violence? What is oppressive violence? And what is revolutionary? Hello, hello. For Kuma, physical strength was necessary, but it wasn't just his physical strength. It was his mental strength too. Because the issue is, nothing will change and no one will do anything unless the lives of those who are in charge of everything feel pressured and feel threatened. Why would they change anything if they are comfortable? Why would anything be changed if the rulers of the world, they are comfortable? That's why when Luigi Mangione, when Luigi Mangione shot that CEO, many CEOs were suddenly like, oh, while that hasn't so far actively changed anything, allegedly, while that so far hasn't actively changed anything, it very well could. And if CEOs keep being targeted, it very well will. I have to say, I'm making this all up. You know, just in case this happens again and they look at me and say, what the fuck is she saying? But I'm just saying, it is historically a fact that revolutionary violence is what has given people human rights. Because there's no reason to give anyone human rights if the rulers are comfortable. Why would they? I'm not aware of the history there. I'm not saying the violence is good, by the way. I don't think any violence is good, but I'm saying that There's just no choice sometimes. We do not live in a perfect world where we can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Well, I mean, democracy we have isn't really democracy. I've always been of the opinion that any topic that we talk about within politics, there should be a professional of that topic there, multiple, as we discuss. What we have as democracy now is not democracy. It's a bunch of old fucking rich people who can get into that position. That is not democracy. That is one step off of fucking monarchies, right? The only people who can be in power within the world in democracies, they still have to be rich and still of a certain standing and still of a certain class. You're never gonna get your average fucking Joe there. And they're not even qualified. There's this belief that because they're rich, they're qualified. Because they went to these fancy schools, they're qualified. You don't even need a fucking degree in politics to be a politician. You can just be one. It's so unbelievable to me. It's fake. It's fake. Maybe I should just fucking be one. But there was that opinion that politicians should be scared. They shouldn't be comfortable. And I agree with that. Being a politician should be like a scary thing. Not a because I can kind of job, you know? Stupid. Like, the fact that in most democracies, there's an age that you have to be a certain age to be able to run for any position of leadership, but there's no cutoff. You can be fucking shitting your pants with dementia and you can still run the country. Hello? What is happening here? Maybe he's moving real fast. Well, it's like, oh, democracy, but we have democracy. And then they're like defunding like schools and making education and certain educations more expensive. And then it's like, you know, they want you stupid. They want you stupid so then you don't think about where you are and what you could be and what you should be doing or could be doing. Because if you're stupid, you're pliant. If you're not educated, people have to think for you. If you're not educated, you say shit like, no, I'm not a political person. Guess what? We all are. We all are. You're just not a political person when you just don't want to think about it. Being uneducated will make you fear both overpopulation and an aging nation at the same fucking time. I can't get over that, guys. I just can't get over it. Aging nation, quick, blame the women. But also, we've got more people than we can give jobs to. Huh? Wait a minute. Look, here's my opinion of it. So fucking what if there are less people in the world in the future? Overconsumption's already running this earth dry. The world already sucks for tons of us. The more people born into this world, the more gears we're going to give to the 1%. So what's the problem? Like, I don't understand the urgency for like, no, we need more people. Like the more I think about less people in the future due to choice, by the way, due to a person's choice, I think, would that not heal the earth more than anything? For my manga. But also, if people are choosing to not have kids, right? If people are choosing to not want children, that is their choice. If they want their bloodline to die with them, that is their choice. I personally would prefer that over, no, I feel pressured to have children. But hey, that's just me. I think it's fine for the human race to, in a million billion years, end because people made the choice to not want kids. The choice, okay? The choice. Bloodline schmudline. I don't know. I'm also not crazy about, like, we have to keep humans going. Do we? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to be alive. But why is this so scary to some people? I'm not sure. Skizuki, fucking exactly! I remember, like, it's crazy. We have people complaining about overpopulation on top of an aging nation at the same fucking time. It's just cracking me up. Like, I've had it. I've just had it. You sit down and think about it for a second and you realize it's all just stupid propaganda. It just, none of it makes sense. We shouldn't get those women back in houses and get them cooking again. We gave them jobs and now they're thinking for themselves and now they just don't want children. We let them read yaoi and now they don't want children. Fun fact, that's what they're saying in China. This is legit. This is true. China are crediting one of the reasons for aging nation is yaoi. They're legitimately saying BL is one of the reasons for an aging nation. because women are reading yaoi and not going outside and meeting men. Good! And I say good! Keep reading yaoi, girlies. Don't let them grind you down. I was excited for test tube babies until Sarah said something to me that made me not excited for them. And the reason I was excited for them is because I was like, oh great. So women can be left alone and they can just make a baby in a tube. Until Sarah said to me, I'm not excited for them because of slavery. And I went, oh, now you've made me not excited for it too. Damn it. I was only thinking about the positives and not the negatives of this situation. Because Carly, if you have test tube babies and you can just make a human being out of thin air and they're a test tube baby, what do you think is going to happen, right? They're just going, more people are just going to be enslaved. And I went, fuck. I was really excited for test tube babies and now I'm not excited for test tube babies. Pissed me off, truly. Can't have anything good. Three. 3D print a baby. You wouldn't download a baby. Hello, thank you. No, Kazuki, I'd say it's relevant. Because Kazuki, there's been many times in history where slaves are othered for certain reasons. And test tube babies would 100% be othered for being test tube babies. We've actually talked about this. I've literally talked about when test tube babies become real, because I feel like it's a matter of when and not if. There's definitely going to be a test tube baby, like, you know, that's going to be a whole thing. I feel it. It's going to happen. People will be bullied because they were born in a tube. As if that's not the coolest thing ever, by the way. Well, at least my mum didn't suffer. Stupid normal born baby. You weren't in a womb. I was thinking about Hercules, by the way. Right? I was thinking of Hercules and I was thinking of Zeus and Hercules, because one of my favorite lines in Hercules is, my boy, my little Hercules. And I know you guys don't hear me say it, but every time I hear my boy, I think of that line. I think of my boy, my little Hercules. And why did they make Zeus a good dad in that movie? I cannot. I also think of Zelda, my boy. I cannot look at Hercules or watch Hercules the same again. Because when you know Zeus and what he does, why the fuck would you make Zeus a good dad? He was a horrible fucking dad. God. He ruled the underworld. They made him a good husband. Yup. Yup. Hades was also made a villain in Percy Jackson, was he not? What's with the Hades hate? Well, to be fair, he did kind of trap, what's her name, Persephone down there? But wasn't she already dead or something? I don't know. No, he didn't. I was gonna say there's more to the story that I don't know. Hadn't she already died? Hades and Zeus planned the kidnapping. So he did kidnap a woman. Greek god versus kidnapping a woman. Just can't win. I know Heracles is a name. Just saying. I know that. Just guys being dudes. The boulder. He's just a nice guy. Met Hades at a charity do once. He was down to earth and very funny.
Howdy do, boys.
Ah! 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 Okay, I think I'm done eating my chicken today. Can I ask a sensitive question? Is coleslaw a white people salad? Yes, depends. Depends on what. You're black. Alright. Okay, but Kaysen I know is also not white, so I also must listen to Kaysen. Only because because I don't like coleslaw. I think it's meh, but I see so many posts of like white people when coleslaw's at the function. And I did not know this about coleslaw. White people, I just said that. White people when there's coleslaw at the function. We do like our artichoke dip. We do like our cheese boards. That's true. You have a One Piece server? Alright, hang on, I'm putting my chicken away. I'm back. Wait. Anyway. Ugh, I also think about coleslaw. Oh fuck, hang on, my washing! Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to do household chores. I asked the thing about coleslaw because I think it's boring. It's just shredded cabbage and mayonnaise, isn't it? It's of like salads. It's not a very good salad. It's hardly a salad, honestly. Very hardly a salad. I don't eat my earwax, I sniff it. I've got cat hair in my nose. And yes, I still do. I think it's good if you've picked something on your body. I think it's good to smell it. It can indicate whether or not something is going on. Is that a controversial thing to say? I mean, you smell your boogers all the time anyway. Yeah, anything. Obviously sanitize after, goodness. Well, you think I'm picking my ears and then not washing my hands? Here's the thing, I'm not picking my poop, am I? Someone said, do you smell your poop? Are you picking your poop? No! And also, you're going to smell your shit. No matter what. Everyone can. Everyone can. Mr. Nine, I'm gonna have to end up banning you if you keep... I think you're looking for a reaction, but it's bordering into, like, jokes that are actually bigoted, so please stop. I'm all for rage baiting, but not rage baiting when it's like, haha, bigoted thing funny. Good morning. Zim it is. Hi, Crash. But also, if you're scratching your ass, is it so bad? Are we not apes after all? I'm just a real human being. I'm just too real. I had a home food. All my apes gone. The old scratch and sniff. I used to have one really long fingernail. It was my pinky finger. It was really, really ridiculously long compared to my other fingernails. And I called it my scratch and sniff, and my friend hated it. Oh! Yeah, when my mum was like, Mel has a bidet in her new place, it's because she likes Japan. First of all, I didn't install it, but I was going to install one if I didn't have one. Second of all, why the fuck is it exclusively a Japanese thing to have a bidet? We are uncivilized as a society to not have bidets. Are you joking? Like, I'm sorry. There's even been studies done. It's European, but the Europeans don't fucking use it anymore. But second of all, and third of all, and fourth of all, there have been studies done to show that a bidet makes your ass cleaner. I'm glad you have bidets in Spain. Why don't they have them in France? I demand them. I went to Paddy. Not a single bidet. But my mom was like, oh, she's got a bidet because she likes Japan. I said, Mom, I've got a bidet because I like having a clean ass. It has nothing to do with where the bidet may have originated from. I just think they're one of the best inventions to ever exist. Okay, but Paris actually has tons of escargot. Thank you. I wasn't the one looking for escargots. Beef stroganoff? Pulled pork? Interesting. Is that going too slow? Snails are really yummy. I had them every day I was in Paris. Yeah, gargoyle, I suppose. If that poor child had no one and nothing. I guess I have a kid now. We're just blonde boys doing what blonde boys do. But Wrath, do you like real life blonde boys? Really? Actually, that question about fiction and reality and blah blah blah. The thing of like how people, because we were talking about the beginning of the stream, the thing of people being so strongly about one or the other. This is why when there are lesbians who have a favorite fictional man, people are confused. I'm a walking example of that. I'm fucking obsessed with Sanji. I don't like men in real life, but because some people cannot comprehend that is not a man to me. That's a fictional thing that I just quite enjoy. They're like, like, do you know what I mean? I'm literally the prime example of, like, it's not black and white. Because, like, the bond between... whatever I'm pointing to. The bond between a lesbian and her favorite little guy, fictional guy, unbreakable. Well, I was talking to one of my friends, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, and he was like, "You still like yaoi?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "So what, you like men now?" And I went, "No." I said, "Fuck no. Not at all." And he went, "Oh, okay." Dude, just, that's all he said. Just, oh, okay. Real men that give you the shakes. What do you mean? Me the shakes? The shakes? I don't know what that means. Like, that I like Sanji? No, I'm not attracted to them. I can identify, I think when a guy is attractive. I say I think, because it feels like I think I've got it down, and then a new, like, beast from the depths appears, and all the girls are going crazy over him, and I go, okay, never mind. I think I can't figure this out. I think I got it, and then there's like a new creature on the rides, and I go, never mind. I don't know anymore. Whoa, Skazuki. Like, there's just always a new guy. Like, it's a new celebrity, a new real-life guy. And I don't tend to find them overly attractive, but people find... The guy from Stranger Things, the one everyone goes crazy over, with the mullet. I do not think he's very attractive, but there are girls drooling over him, and I'm like, I don't get it. Steve? Yeah, that guy. I don't know him personally. I've got no vendetta against him, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. '80s fine. Have you seen the men in the '80s? They were actually dressing up. Please. Must be nice, Carleen. Must be nice. No. Gargoyle. I think I can identify when a man is attractive. Like, I can say that's a pretty man. But am I attracted to him? No. Right? I have not met a man that I wanted to touch. Let's say that. Every time I was with a guy that I thought I liked, and he would touch me or I would touch him, I'd go, ew. It's just, I was not about it. Beauty in the eye of the beholder. Actually, fun fact, I told my friend this. I can tell you guys this, who cares, who gives a fuck. Maybe it'll help someone. The reason it took me so long to realize I'm a lesbian and I don't actually like men is because I thought the idea of not enjoying being with men was normal. I thought that was normal. Like, if you are not enjoying your time with a guy, or a guy touching you, or you touching a guy, I was like, but we all feel like that, right? We all understand that, right? And when I was telling, like, one of my friends about that before, she was like, girl, no! She was like, no, girl! You're meant to enjoy some aspects of it. And I went, damn! I didn't know that. And that's why it took me so long. Because I was like, yeah, we all feel like that, right? We all just kind of put up with that. It was crazy. I did see the Gambit and Rogue wedding skins. I really liked them. I'm meant to enjoy this. I realized, I think when I was 13, I think 12 to 13, I realized I like girls. Back then, I didn't know how I felt truly about guys, about boys, so I said I was bi. And then only like 3 years ago did I figure out that I actually don't like men. So I knew from a young age I liked girls. I just couldn't figure out how I felt about men. I truly couldn't. Because I thought we were all supposed to kind of recoil when a guy touched us. No, that's not the case. "26. Yeah, I would have been 23. I can't quite put my finger on this. Fun fact, guys, by the way, if you think you are bi, shout out to bi people, by the way, I love you guys, but if you think you are bi, and you know for definite proof how you feel about one gender, but you can't figure out how you feel about the other, that probably means something. It probably means something. Just letting you know. Apparently, you're meant to like both of them to be bi. Apparently. And I was not aware of this fact. Sorry, all, not both. Well, yeah. I just couldn't believe it. It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. Arrow Ace. Real as fuck. To be fair, it's a confusing world. Because it's like, even straight women seem to not like the men they're dating. So, not all of them, but a lot of them. So I was like, this just must be normal. Oh god. What a world, what a world. Yeah, I know it's not 50-50. But the fact that I was like, I can't put my finger on this one, and I never could. Horrible experience.
Howdy do, boys.
I believe you might... Are you a man, perhaps? I'm sure that's why that was a horrible experience. I like femboys. I quite enjoy femboys. Am I attracted to them? No. Do I find them attractive? Yes. But I advocate for more femboys in the world, truly. The world does need more femboys. Wouldn't we just be saved? Wow. First cartoon man I liked. Maybe Gary? Pokemon? Gary and Barry from Pokemon. Those two. I think those were the first. I can't think of any non-anime one. Because Tamaki was a huge one for me from our own high school host club. I do like Brock. I was fond of him, but he's not as mentally ill as Sanji. No, Brock wasn't a perv, not from what I remember anyway. Yummy hot chocolate. Oh, I fucking love this one. What the hell? Why isn't there any higher resolution of this? What is this? Genre of image. I'm trying to find something specific. Then it's just giving me. What's the theme? Guy, man portrait, confident man, male man, handsome man, young, confidence, adult, salesman, portrait, nice, college, education, positive, school, boy. This is not what I'm looking for. I want this one. I really enjoy the pattern on a sweater. The pattern says free pics. My god, this is really low quality. Oh no, they're all low quality. This will do. Bye-bye. Oh, 2 people leaving. Crush, don't ask. Don't ask. Stop asking me. Ah! Hmm. I forgot how I do this. What the? I'm gonna just do this. That doesn't look bad. This is so not gonna work. Get ready for a monstrosity. Oh! Actually not too bad. I'll take that. Oh, the other image is bigger? Okay, hang on. Never mind, don't need that. Oh my god. Oh my god! The fuck? I was fucking tricked, there are fleas everywhere. God, I'm an idiot, hang on. No matter how you slice it. That's a good one. That's a good one. I once said to my friend Brittany, but you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and she was gagged. She went, "Whoa, that's a really good white people saying." Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. No matter how you slice it. My favorite white people saying is let's rock and roll. When parents leave places with their kids. Let's rock and roll. Can't say champ in Australia. Apparently it's a bad thing to say champ. It's not actually a bad thing, it's just a man thing. Which I knew. But the guys I was talking to, they were insisting it wasn't a guy thing. Everyone in Australia knows you can't say champ. And I was like, no, it's a stupid guy thing. Kenny! I knew you were here! It's a guy thing! You're just stupid about it. No, Kaysen. Allegedly, in Australia, you can't call someone else champ. It's like demeaning. Because I was playing Rivals with these friends, Banana in the chat, and I said to a guy in a chat, I said, sorry, champ. And they went, whoa! And I went, what? What's wrong with champ? You fucking tell me. Apparently, it's the worst thing you can ever say to a guy. It's a man thing. I believe we can all be champ if they just got over it, you know? Fight me. Okay, champ. It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. This is the man in question. It's the way you guys insisted. It's Australian. Everyone knows. It's a fully Australian thing. And I was like, no, this sounds like an Australian man thing. I was right. Explain your anger to the class. Kaysen, don't do it. Don't fall for it. I gotta change the music. Ah! Alright, I gotta pause the music to do this. Sorry, everyone. You know what? If you'd like, you can listen with me. Yeah, it's all gotta load up first. Ow! The risk of getting decked is very high. No, I was already using that. Actually, I think I like this one. Oh, you guys can't hear it. Sorry about that. There we are. Now you'll be able to hear it. A bit loud. I turned it down. Thanks, champ. No problem, champ. No problem. It's emasculating. And now, Kenny, here's where we continue the conversation. Sorry, banana. Why is being emasculated bad? Why is something emasculating so offensive? Exactly. Exactly. See? That's what it all comes down to. Because you want to feel like a big man? Interesting. Interesting. Actually, I think I want to use this one. Whoa, hang on. Okay, you got me. You got me. I accept your answer. Nothing wrong with wanting to feel masculine. Nothing wrong with it. But why is something that's emasculating such a problem? Too woke for you. It's something a champ would say. You're going to get punched. No, I understand. No, trans men. Okay, let me explain this. Yes, trans men are men too. However, on the topic of cis men feeling emasculated, this is not about, oh, men just want to feel masculine. This is about the emasculation part being demeaning, because what are women meant to be every day? That's what we're talking about. For real. For real. It's less I want to be treated like a man and more the act of emasculine things is seen as pitiful and weak and sad. That's the thing we're talking about here. Right? It's the fact that it's not that it's emasculating, it's that, oh, I'm emasculated like a woman. Do we understand? I'm all for gender positivity. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But the issue is the act of being feminized or being emasculated is seen as like a weak thing, a sad thing, a bad thing, right? But like being defeminized wouldn't feel good to people who want to be feminine. But that's not what we're talking about. Do you understand? It's not what we're talking about. Like, we're not talking about people who are like, oh, I like, I'm a big, like, I want to be masculine because I'm a man. We're talking about the men feeling like they're not men enough is a bad thing because you have to be masculine. That's what we're talking about. Because my whole thing is you wouldn't feel so icky about emasculation if the way femininity and women were seen wasn't so pitiful. Do you understand? It's a whole thing, right? Because it's like, it's embarrassing to be a woman, basically. No, the champ thing's different. But the point you brought up, it bothers me. Because it's like, yes, I understand gender affirming. I totally get that. But it's in the way men do it, it's not a gender affirmation thing. It's a power affirmation thing. It's very different. It's, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. What do you mean you can't? But that's not what we would, that's not like, the champ thing is funny. It's funny. One of the Pokemon gym calls them a champ in the making. Oh, good question. Exactly. Exactly. Men who are like, I don't want to learn how to cook, it's emasculating. Because it's seen as something women should do. Do we understand? There's a real difference between gender affirmation and just, like, let's say misogyny. There's a real fucking difference, I can tell you that much. Becoming Pokemon. You're the champ! Gah! I am such an idiot. Oh my god. But that's not what my real life friend Banana who was in this chat was talking about. No, I know, not a critic. Like that's what I'm saying. It's not what we were talking about. That's not what we were talking about. That's not what champ is. I was just fucking with my friend. Chump, that's a good one. I like chump. I want a coffee. Eh, eh, eh. Hey. Oh, the music! I'm so sorry, everyone. If you were Zoro, what's the first thing you'd do? First thing I would do is scratch my balls, sniff them, and shower, probably. I feel like if you woke up as Zoro, you'd just feel grimy. He's gotta be covered in grime. Grimy and sore. But wouldn't, if you woke up as Zoro, wouldn't your own stench feel, like, smell good to you? Maybe that's why he doesn't shower. I would stand up just to feel how heavy my balls are. Tricky. A lot of men don't. Men do not have a lot of role models by default. They have a lot of role models because because men are more shown. And for why? Because men have the ability to do more. Because it has nothing to do with by default. I don't know what you're talking about, but again, it's a power thing. Most women that could have served as role models to little girls usually had their spotlight taken from them, had their work taken from them, and rebranded as something else. For example, I found out Einstein's wife was actually not just as smart as him, but probably smarter than him, and actually helped him with a lot of his equations. And she's, of course, never looked at. I wonder why. I believe it was his wife. It was either his wife or a colleague, but I think it was his wife. I think it's the way you said it, because you said, you know, if there were more women role models. Well, there's a reason. There's a reason there haven't been too many women role models, even just like a generation ago, that are not, let's say, societally accepted. I agree. Women do need more role models that do different things, but they tend to get shunned. Hello, hello. God, there are so many moments where I just stop to say something else, and that's why it's taking so long. Ah! I like how Sanji kicked Luffy so fucking hard, he's like, oh. Sanji, you damn well near gave him a fucking concussion. Give him a second. Oh my god! Guys, it was Chinese New Year yesterday. Or, no, yesterday, it's midnight. It was, first of all, happy Chinese New Year. Second of all, I forgot about that, and fireworks started going off around my apartment, and I got really scared. And I was, ah! What's happening? Oh, it's Chinese New Year. It scared me. Yeah, year of the horse. Year of the haunts. I'm not stoic. Are you kidding me? I get angry all the time. I was wondering what that was. Ah, God. Hello. Bobbing's come in to say hi. What, Bobbing? What? What? She is yelling at me. Really, Asteroid Farm? Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know why she's screaming. Why are you screaming? Why scream? Would you like to tell the class why screaming? She's just purring now. Did you want attention? Is that why scream? Why? Hello! Hello, hello. Your nose is cold. Your schnoz is cold. Hang on, let me turn off the aircon. Maybe that's why she's yelling. Oh. Also, sorry, Lonely Pumpkin. If you're still here, my friend just sent me what you asked, which was Hudson Williams. And she asked me, do you know who Hudson Williams is? And I have not replied to her. And I had to look him up. The guy from Heated Rivalry? Can I say something that's controversial? I know a lot of gay people like Heated Rivalry. I know a lot of queers like it. But I literally said to Sarah, I know Heated Rivalry is mainly for straight women because the guys are not very pretty. And I know gay people love it, okay? I know queer people love it. But I was like, why aren't they pretty? I don't think they're that personally, I don't think they're that attractive, no. Sometimes gay men aren't pretty, but here's the thing. I think it's the least men could do. I'm not talking about real life gay men. I'm talking about fictional gay men. It's the least they could do. They could at least be pretty. That's all I'm asking. Right? There's a reason the Fujo girlies are what they are. See you, Crash. Oh. I already have to go through the taxing ordeal. I don't care if it wouldn't be realistic. I don't care. Men write women in high heel shoes fucking running around like it's nothing. And having makeup on every day. Even on like deserted islands. I don't care if it's not realistic. Make them pretty. I demand it. I already have to suffer through the taxing ordeal of looking at a real life man. They could at least be pretty. It's the least they could do. I haven't seen it yet. Sanji is the most disgusting thing in One Piece. I just love him. But he's beautiful. Like Shamrock. Is Shamrock probably a horrible person? Yes. Is he at least nice to look at? Yes. It's all I ask for.